if you haven't built a fender style neck out of mahogany yet, you need to stop what you're doing and get started doing one right now. That's way too extreme. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So the other day I was working on some neck through projects, and this is one of them. And neck throughs start out very, very thick because you've got all these different angles. And after I cut a bunch of the excess away, I noticed that I had two blanks that would be totally perfect for doing fender style necks. And guys, if you haven't made a fender style neck out of mahogany, you're really missing out because it's a privilege to do. It is just so much easier than working with maple because it's mahogany. We're going to get into all that. So hold on, I have to do something here. So let's talk a little bit about why you would want to build a neck for a fender style guitar out of mahogany, and then I'm going to walk you guys through how to do it. I'm going to show you why I put this little piece of blue tape here, and I'm also going to show you some cool tools that I have never shown anyone before, and I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it. And I don't think that in this video I'm going to use anything that isn't stuff you could just get at Home Depot, okay? Or somewhere like that. So anyway, yeah, so a mahogany neck for a Fender style guitar. Of course, I'm not the first person to do this. In fact, there's lots of people, including Fender, who've made mahogany style bolt-on necks. So like I said, I had some leftover mahogany laying around. This is especially cool because it's Honduran mahogany, but for a neck through, let me see if I can show you here. Here's the neck that it came out of. It's glued up, so this is a two-piece neck. So my remnants, if you will, are also two-piece. So they're vertically oriented grain, and they're just super cool chunks of wood. But why else would you want to use mahogany? Well, we already talked about like mahogany machines, way easier than maple. You know, so if you're using hand tools to shape it, you thank me later or thank me now, but mahogany is way nicer to shape by hand, or the machine for that matter. Mahogany is also a tone wood. So if you guys are building guitars and you want to sell them to other people, I mean, you can make necks out of all kinds of stuff, but the fact of the matter is, and we've talked about this before, you know, there's a handful of woods that are acceptable guitar building woods, and there's a lot of stuff that is super cool, but maybe people are like, I've never heard of, like say for example, cherry. Cherry would make a great guitar wood, but guitar buyers might be recalcitrant to buy a neck or body made out of cherry, even if I think it's cool or if you think it's cool. So mahogany is a very accepted wood for necks and bodies and electric guitars and acoustic guitars too. So those are great reasons to use mahogany. Another thing is sometimes they have deals. Like I think last time I was on the Stuart McDonald website, they had some really good deals on like 4/4 mahogany neck blanks. So you can get a great deal on something that's easier to machine, and makes a terrific neck too. So anyway, let me show you some of the stuff that we're gonna do. Oh, a couple things. This is one that I made. This is kind of like one of those cooking shows where like I already made one and then I show you how to do it. This is a Fender Telly style, but I don't make Telly headstocks anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't do that any longer. So this one has a headstock. I just kind of drew it on there. But the templates that we're going to be using today came from my very good friend Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, and I don't know if he offers these, but I do know that if you call him and say, "Hey, I want one of them templates like Matt has in the video," it's in the inventory. You know, I mean, he can make them. But let me show you the template that we're gonna be using. So the standard template set that he has for like hold on, let me put this on a board so you can see it. The standard template set that Steve sells doesn't have these drill bushings in these locations. And when I started doing my essential neck building workshops, I'm like, I gotta have something that I can use that does a lot of different things. And as we go, it's going to make more and more sense. Okay, so I wanted something that had a bushing here and here. These two holes here, that's the old location. So I said, Steve, I want the bushing holes in the spots where the neck bolts go. You know what I mean? And so I also had him add these other guys here. So that was cool. I also said I want to have the other two holes, I want them where the E strings go. And this is going to become very, very practical here in a second. So the reason I wanted that is because I didn't want to use these pins and these pins to index the fretboard. What I like to do is get my neck looking like this, plop my truss rod in and glue my fretboard on, then cut my fret slots after the fretboard's glued on. That way they're perfect every time and they index correctly every time. You will notice when I show you this StewMac fret slotting guide that I have all kinds of holes drilled in it. Well, these holes here and this hole here actually index on these templates. So I can, if you imagine, I can take this neck using the pins that are the 16th pins. This is all going to make sense if you haven't used Steve templates here in a second. Using Steve's pins, I can put this on my my fret slotting guide, and I can run it across my radial arm saw, or if you have a table saw, however you do it, you can do it that way, and you have holes that go all the way through, and it doesn't matter, you know, so like the holes are kind of sacrificial. This one here gets drilled out and becomes a tuner hole. These two holes here that are on the template, and this one right here, these become the neck bolt holes. So I think it makes more sense for the type of tools that I have and the way that I build guitars. Steve's template set works great if you do it exactly like Steve does. So you know how it is. A couple different ways to do stuff. Talk to 10 different guitar builders. They'll give you 10 different answers on how to do something. So anyway, I have a board here that we are going to be working with today, and it's got a center line, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this template to it, and I'm going to drill 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4 for my, actually I'm going to drill 6, I'm going to drill these guys too, but I need to drill 4 holes for the index pins to go. And the cool thing about that is, and again, this will make more sense as we do it, you can pull the template off, put it back on, pull the template, put it back on, and it'll be the same every time, okay? One last thing. You will notice that this board looks really kooky. That's because I'm putting this is a Strat heel and Strat style headstock. It's not going to look exactly like a Strat, but it's going to be a little bigger than the Telly one. So I needed to add a little chunk, and I thought I'll just go ahead and do that now. You guys know how to glue wood to wood, right? Okay, so let me move the camera, and we'll get this guy taped down, and then we'll drill some holes. And do that now. Okay, what we're going to do next, as I was telling you guys, is we're going to actually attach this template to this board with a couple of pieces of double-sided tape. But one thing I forgot to mention is I need to know where my 0 fret is going to go. So I'm just going to use a sharp pencil and kind of put a little mark here, and then make a perpendicular line to my center line. Okay, you could also use a protractor. So that way I can line up my 0 fret and line up my center line, and I know everything's good. The 0 fret location is going to come in handy for one of the steps that we're going to do here in a moment. Okay, so let's just get a couple of pieces of double stick tape here, and we're going to tape this guy down. The tape is going to hold the template for us while we drill the holes, the 1/8 inch holes that I was talking about just a moment ago. Okay, man, you guys, these templates are so cool, and I am really, really glad that Steve made these for me. I mean, I had to pay him. But I mean, I asked him to make them for me, and they are the hot setup for this kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna get everything lined up on my center line, press it down, and we're gonna drill this hole here, the two E-string holes. We're gonna drill, and we're gonna drill all four of the neck bolt holes. Now, a couple things we don't need to drill. So there's really, okay, I cover up the holes with some tape because if you guys ever know me, sometimes I get to drilling holes and I don't have a bunch of bonus holes, right? Okay, so I'm going to cover up the ones that I'm not going to drill so I don't make any mistakes. If I were to forget and stampede towards drilling these holes, it wouldn't be the worst thing, but I actually like to not do that because it can put run out in my template. So I'll just mark these with a 1/4 inch punch, or 1/4 inch with an 1/8 inch punch, and we'll do that. So we're going to drill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. Okay, and let's go to the drill press and do that now. Okay, gang, this is the easiest thing in the world. We're just going to drill 6 holes all the way through our neck blank into our sacrificial board on the table here. I've got an 1/8 inch drill bit, and the nice thing about Steve's templates is these hardened steel drill bushings. You won't be able to get any run out on those. Okay, all the way through. Now we're just going to do that 5 more times. Now, if I was really smart, I'd have had Steve put the hardened steel bushings in all the neck holes, but again, that's what I would do if I was really smart. Okay? So I've got my 4 holes back here, which are my neck mounting holes, and I've got the 2 E strings here, and so I've got holes on the back of the neck. And the cool thing about these is these holes are going to be used for something later on. So it's really drilling these holes one time, and then they're going to need to stay there anyway. So it's not like they disappear; they just get used for something else. Okay, so now we can pull. Actually, we are going to do one more thing first. We are going to trace around the template because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to zip over to the bandsaw. And we are going to rough cut this guy out. Okay, now it's time to pull the template off. The neat thing about this is, as I was saying, because these holes are in our neck, and because these holes with the hardened little pin bushings are in our template, if we put 1/8 inch pins in here made out of 1/8 inch dowel, we can take this template, take it off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. And it'll go back to the same place and index in the same spot every single time, thus making us wildly smart, and everybody's going to want to be our friend. Haha. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the bandsaw, and we're going to rough cut this out, except... Remember when I said we're not going to do exact replicas of the Fender style headstock? I'm actually going to draw a slightly different headstock on here and show you guys how to do that. If you want, I think Steve will just sell you this regular Strat headstock, but I can't use a Strat headstock. That's not my style. But when I'm doing this stuff, I like to make my headstock be a little bit larger in some places than the standard headstock. And this goes back many years. I used to know some guys who, what they would do is they would buy like regular headstocks and then they would reshape the end. And I'm like, well, that just looks like you just reshaped a regular end. And they looked cool. In fact, they looked really cool. But I thought, well, if you had a headstock that was bigger, it would not look like you just bought a regular fender neck and reshaped it. So we're going to do something slightly. Then we can make it be anything we want. We can change it. We can come something, I don't know, something like that. That looks kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going away from the I don't care if you guys like this or not, but here's my original fender area, and as you can see, I just made it come a little bit lower than that. Okay, let's look at my telly headstock that I did here. Actually, we could just line it up. We could just copy this headstock almost exactly, because that's pretty neat. Okay, all right, that looks all right. Let's roll with something like that. That's kind of neat. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, so it's got a little bit of strat to it, a little bit of telly to it, a little bit of matte to it. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Let's go with that. Okay, so we're going to rough cut that out, and then we'll go back and we'll put our template on, and we'll route everything that doesn't look like my headstock. We'll route it off, and then we'll shape the parts that do look like my headstock on the edge sander. So what we got to do is we got to put a little bit of put some double stick tape down. Okay, and that's going to hold the neck for us. Okay, and then we're going to get some 1/8 inch pins, and we're going to pin this sucker on here, and the tape's going to hold it, and the pins are going to index it for us. Let me go get some pins, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, I'm changing the camera angle up so you guys don't get bored. So I've got my 1/8 inch pin here. This is just 1/8 inch dowel, but it's not just 1/8 inch dowel. I actually ran it through this dowel sizer, and that chunk of stuff that just came off of that was the extra wood that wasn't an 1/8 inch. So you can see it. If you try to just use a regular dowel without sizing it, it might work, but it might not. So best to go on Amazon and spend a few bucks on the dowel sizer there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to rough cut this out. Let's go to the bandsaw and rough cut it out real quick. Okay, fortunately my double stick tape still has the paper on it, so it won't get contaminated with sawdust. I like to rough cut these out with the template off, so if by some remote chance I nick the template and ruin it, well, actually there's absolutely no possible chance I can nick the template and ruin it if it's not attached to the piece when I'm bandsawing. Okay. Hey guys, quick story in two parts. One is I forgot to push the button all the way down on the camera when I was routing the neck and finishing out the headstock. And two, the reason that that happened to me, it's all Carlos Lopez's fault. Carlos and his wife Stephanie came over to our house on Thursday night. They're super, super cool people. Carlos said, "Hey, you know what? Let's have a shot of mezcal before I have to fly back." Well, you know how it goes. You get a bunch of guitar guys talking about a bunch of guitar stuff, and one drink turns into a couple. And needless to say, yesterday I wasn't still drunk, but I was on low speed, you know? So anyway, I forgot to push the button. So I'm editing, and I'm like, oh, boo, I don't have enough. I'm missing something. So I want to talk about what I did after I rough sawed the neck on the bandsaw, which is what you just watched. One thing to keep in mind, you always want to, like I said, pull the template, but you still want to cut as though the template were on there. You don't want to cut it, and you don't want to cut into the template, right? Don't go into the line, because what we do then is we put the template back on. If I had some pins, I'd actually do it. Put the template back on, put some double stick tape down, use some 1/8 inch pins, and find it will find where it goes. And you guys know what I'm gonna tell you to do next, right? You go through and you use a pattern bit, and you go from rough to smooth, and it looks like $100 million. Now, this is where, and I talked a lot about this in the video that I didn't make. This is where the 3/4 of an inch of Honduran mahogany is such a joy, such a luxury to work with. It is really, really nice because it machines beautifully, and it just, you know, your bits, your spiral bits just plow through it like it is nobody's business. And you might even say, as I do, oh, maple, why can't you be more like mahogany? As you'll notice, I think I talked about this, my headstock, let me get my glasses here. My headstock doesn't look like the Fender headstock. All right, see? So what I did was I went, and with the router along the template, I went from on the top of the headstock to the transition down to the neck, all the way down to the heel, all the way around the heel, all the way to the other headstock transition, because that's all that does is really tell me where my holes go. And so this little 3.5 inch section here, I can play with. I can do whatever I want. So I drew this on there, and I thought that looked pretty cool, you know. So anyway, yeah, it's just a little bit, and I cleaned that up. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. I cleaned that up on the edge sander. Okay, so and you guys have seen me do that 100 billion times. So it's not the end of the world that I didn't push the button all the way down, but I apologize, and gives me another opportunity to tell you guys, why don't you take this opportunity to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, you need to subscribe right now. That's kind of my new thing. I'm having a good time with it. Okay, back to the video, on with the show. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Matt's Sweet Truss Rod Jig. And this is works in conjunction with the Bitterroot truss rod that we use on almost everything. And Chris and I came up with this as a way to easily put truss rod slots into necks for people that don't have a table router, or don't have a pin router, or don't have a CNC machine. If you have a regular hand router and you have a 1/4 inch bit, and you have this template or jig, and you have some of these bushings, see these bushings right here, I'm going to show you the one that's in the router, you can use this template set. So this particular router has a 3/8 bushing in it, and the 1/4 inch bit goes inside of the bushing, and the outside of the bushing rides on the jig. Okay, now that's cool because there's no way that the bit can bounce up against the template, and you don't have to have a teeny tiny router bit with a bearing on it. It's a kind of it's a cool way to do truss rods. And if you guys think if you think Matt's Sweet Truss Rod Jig is cool, maybe we'll start selling these. Let me know what you guys think. But first, let me show you how to use it. Actually, first, let me tell you that If I did the truss rod while this was still a great big chunk of wood, it would have been easier to see my center line on the back. It's not a big deal, okay? In fact, maybe it's cooler that I'm gonna show you how to use Matt's sweet truss rod jig on a neck that's already cut out. I don't know if you think it's cool or not. It's gonna be cool. Let me show you how to do it. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna double stick tape Matt's sweet truss rod jig down onto the neck. And oh, you know what we should do? What would be really cool is if we put these holes in the jig so it just lined up perfectly. That would be a cool thing. You know what I might do? I might drill holes in this and actually put pins in it. You know what? Through a little bit of TV magic, when I come back, there's going to be holes in here, and we're going to have pins that index this onto the neck. You know what? I think even Start With Excellent Steve at Maximum Guitar Works would think this was a cool way to do it. And I think he would think that because it is a cool way to do it. So we're going to get, like I said, we're going to get some double stick tape on here. And all this is going to do is going to hold the jig in place. The pins are there to index it. They might hold it a little bit too, you know. But yeah, I dig this. I think this is going to be cool. Now, I still think that if one were to use this jig, hold on a minute, use this jig prior to cutting the neck out, that you would be in a better off position. But this is going to work, gang. Okay, all I got to do now is find the... All right, guys, I think that's gonna look good. Let's see how our truss rod looks. Boy, that sun got us a snug fit in there. Yep. Okay. Excellent. Come on, man. Okay, guys, my camera kind of went haywire on me. I apologize. But remember, I'm a guitar builder making videos, not a video guy making guitars. So anyway, the truss rod slot worked like $1,000,000. My little jig worked great. And there's a couple things I want to tell you about, though. There's a handful of things you have to watch out for. Because that jig relies on the bushing riding on the inside diameter of the oversized slot, and this sawdust kind of gets up in there and collects and sticks to the jig. You have to vacuum it out periodically, because what can happen is you get sawdust that impedes the bushing riding against the jig. You know what I mean? Okay. So anyway, we got our slot in here. I didn't really go into how I do that, because I figured you guys could either figure that out, or if I start selling those jigs, they'll come with instructions, and you know, I can't give everything away, right? So now we have a neck that looks an awful lot like the neck that we started with. The neck that we started with, this telly style neck. I want to go ahead and drill the holes for the rest of the tuners. I've got those in the, I've got those marked there. I don't know if you can see them. Let's see. See, let me get my finger in there, let it focus. It might not do it. I've got all the holes marked, and I've got the my low E string plugged. The same thing that I did with the tape on the telly neck. Now, why did I do that? Because I want to remember to not drill that hole. In fact, it's probably a dumb idea to drill these holes right now, but I'm going to do it anyway because that way both necks are exactly in the same spot. But I wanted to remember to not drill this hole oversized because I'm still going to use this 1/8 inch indexing pin hole when I fret the necks. But I think that should be a project for another day, because this video is already going to be probably feature length. I think we need part 2, maybe part 3 when it's all said and done. I'm not sure. But guys, if I haven't convinced you yet that you need to use Mahogany to build a fender style neck at least one time, I have failed you. Give it a try, see what you think. And I'm not saying that you have to exclusively use Mahogany for fender style necks from now on, but I tell you what, it's a luxury to machine this stuff. And as we go, I think it'll become more and more clear just how much easier Hunter and Mahogany is than say, rock maple. So anyway, gang, again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you need to do so right now, okay? There's a lot of people watching these videos who aren't subscribed. Please subscribe. If you want to get in on the Patreon level training, even $1 a month right now, and you can see all of the content for the neck through video workshop that we're doing, the online at home learning thing that we're doing. The lowest amount gets everything. Now that's not going to happen as we go on, but if you want to do the neck through one, it only costs you $1 a month. So and anybody can do it. Yeah. So anyway, so Patreon and YouTube members get the same thing. Somebody asked me, what's better, YouTube or Patreon? Frankly, I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that for every $1, I make more with Patreon than I do YouTube, but I have no idea. I could be way off. If you guys know, let me know. And if you know, and you sign up for the one that makes me the most money, right? Okay. If you want information on Matt's, Matt's sweet truss rod channel jig, please put something in the comment section below. And yeah, if what else? Oh, if you want to talk to me about Steve's templates and how you can get a set, again, leave them in the comment section below, or you can contact Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. So, guys, I think that should be enough for video installment number 1. I'm really having a lot of fun with this. I think Mahogany necks are cool, and I think it's a cool video to do. So, and I hope you guys agree. So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you next time. Have a great week, everybody.